Hello everyone, and welcome to another wonderful story. We're going to change things up a little and read some stuff from the r/D&D horror stories subreddit. I guess it was implied that it's a subreddit since I said r/. I'm doing really good tonight, guys. How are you? Let's read some stories. This is Thirsty Group becomes female PC's Knights of the Round to defend her honor. You can see why I picked this one out, didn't you? The story's about a group of ex-friends of mine from college. It consists of 5 characters of note, and to keep matters simple, we'll give them nicknames. Anon, myself, I'm kind of important to the story, pretty much brought this group together after hearing most people wanted to play D&D, and the DM wanted to rerun a campaign he hosted years prior, with different spins to transfer to the 5D system. Queen Bee, my best friend of 5 years, helped her through some pretty tragic losses in her family, as well as some mental issues that she was dealing with during those 5 years. Spent 8 hours on the phone with her when Room broke her heart. Has always had men and women lining up to hit on her, regardless of the situation she was in, romantically or mentally. Has either denied these were attempts to hit on her or feigned ignorance. Room, the roommate. A close friend of 5 years. Had a relationship with female PC, but they broke up and worked things out. Still has massive feelings for her. Cunt. Friend of my roommates. Between learning Room and Queen Bee broke up, cut off all ties and communication with Room in order to sleep with Queen Bee. This plan failed, but Queen Bee convinced Room that's not what happened. DM, the Dungeon Master. A friend of mine who I've been playing D&D with for years. Has openly admitted to having feelings for Queen Bee to me. Said they were over and that they would not affect the D&D campaign. Okay, sorry to drag some personal baggage through the introductions of these characters, but I feel like setting up the background of this group is easier before I get into the story as is during, the middle of it. So the story starts about 2 years ago, with me talking with Queen Bee about some D&D video I watched recently about bad DMs, and how myself and DM's original Dungeon Master had shown ridiculous favoritism to a female PC he had a huge crush on. How ironic that this is how the story starts. She says it sounds awful and hopes that when she starts playing, nothing like that happens in her game. I mentioned to her that DM had always been a pretty good Dungeon Master and decided to check in to see if DM was down to host a game or not. DM said that they'd love to, but they didn't know if me and another old PC from a previous campaign would be okay running it, because it would be a rerun from a campaign we kinda abandoned a few years back. I mean, I'd be down, you know me, I don't metagame much, and when I do, it's tiny stuff, never plot derailing things. Well, that's true. I'll have to check with the other PC. Then we'll see, but that'll only leave us with 3 players. What about Room? He's been talking about D&D for years. He wants to play really badly. I'm pretty sure he'll be down. Yeah, we can grab Cunt too. That'll give us 5. Perfect. Now, this is where I was uncomfortable. I had already explained the situation between Cunt, Room, and Queen Bee to DM, but DM was of the belief that Queen Bee said that it didn't happen like that. It probably didn't happen like that. Which, to be fair, if Queen Bee didn't have an awful time telling people when they were actually hitting on her, or just being nice. Regardless, I'm a forgiving person, and decide, whatever, this doesn't even affect me personally. Room's over it, I should get over it too. So now the party is forming. Before we can work out a schedule for our sessions, a mutual friend of the group, we'll just call him Friend, asked if we'd be willing to run a one-shot for the Curse of Strahd module that he just bought. He wanted to get his toes wet before running it with his regular group, who were out of town at the time. DM and I figure that this will be a great chance for the new players to learn the mechanics of D&D before we even get into the campaign. So, we help people make sheets over Discord, get them printed out, and head over to Friend's apartment to play. When creating our characters, Queen Bee asks if I can help her in a private call, seeing as everyone's talking to each other and DM is helping 2 other people since they finished their one-off character beforehand. Yeah, sure, DM seems pretty busy. Just hold on 1 second, Queen Bee. I'll help you right after I'm done with this one. No, it's fine. Anon can help me. Besides, you've got to help Room after you're done with Cunt. Alright, we'll be back in a bit. So I leave to call Queen Bee, we get her character set up, and stay in the call while I finish up mine. We talk about backgrounds, and while talking, Friend decides that he wants to talk with us. Apparently, DM, Cunt, and Room are just talking in circles about something or another and not really getting any work done. Friend asks what we were thinking about playing, and if we had any backstory to go with it. When we both say that we're really unsure, Friend says, I can roll up some events if you'd like to build your backstory around it. We agree, and we both get fairly tied together events. Queen Bee asks if I want to write out our backstory in such a way that our characters are friends, and I decide, sure, why not? Friends are okay in the backstories, and we finish up our characters. Fast forward to the day of the game. We're gathered in Friend's apartment, and people seem to be excited, and I am too. I get to play D&D with my closest friends. I created a Goliath monk. Queen Bee created a half-elf bard. Room has a half-elf paladin. DM created a tiefling barbarian. Cunt and other PC created Mr. and Mrs. Useless McUseless Pants. And no, this is not just because I don't like Cunt as a person. It's because Cunt's character said one thing and made half as many decisions. I literally cannot remember what their character was or did. The same thing goes for the other PC. So the one-shot starts, and immediately, like not even 5 seconds after Friend describes the setting we find ourselves in, Room's character tries to get between Queen Bee and everyone else's character. Now, myself, being Queen Bee's in-character friend, made a joke about him being scared we were going to beat up the little half-elf and give Queen Bee's character a playful punch on the arm. No damage dice are rolled, because I make it very clear to Friend that this is more of a push with a fist than an actual punch. Room pulls out his weapon and rolls Intimidate, and fails miserably, and gets told by Queen Bee that our characters are friends. Room is visibly agitated by this. Before the conversation can continue, Friend moves the narrative along, and we move through the module. Room is sulking behind the party, but whatever. Then we have our first run-in with Strond, and Strond invites us to sit at a table in the middle of the road that they conjured out of thin air. We accept, using common sense, that when a being that summons shit out of thin air asks you to do something, you should probably do it. Then Strond begins to talk directly to Queen Bee's character, and moves over to them. DM readies an action to flip the table. Okay, well, Strond puts their hand on Queen Bee's shoulder and whispers something in her ear. Room, I stand up and draw my weapon. Guys, they're just speaking to her. Calm your shit. Honestly, this is some pretty powerful metagaming. Our characters don't even know who or what Strond is. We don't even know that they have a curse named after them. Strond could be a helpful wizard here to give us free levels and items for all our characters know of them. They try to argue back, but Queen Bee says something and they all calm down. We move forward through the scenario, make it to the town, and get to the murder house. At this point, most things tend to die down. Room seems to be getting the hang of the mechanics and is focusing on the game. DM ends up being the last one conscious and gets everyone outside. Hell, we call it a session there. I won't lie, had a pretty good time. Call it a night. DM, Room, Cunt, and other PC stay at Friend's place as they've come in from out of town for this. I drive Queen Bee back home. After I drop Queen Bee off, I get a call from Room. He asked why I was being rude to him during the game. I explained I wasn't being rude, I was simply trying to get the game moving forward. I then explained to him how rude it was to stop all forward progress to the story and try to be Queen Bee's knight in shining armor. He retorts back with a, "It's what my character would do." Yeah, he was that guy the first time he played D&D. I explained to him that character motives can be acted on when the story needs it. Trying to protect a random stranger from a group of other random strangers makes no damn sense. When one of the characters very obviously knows the one you're trying to protect. Fine, whatever, bye. Now I know for most people, this would be an inform the DM moment. But I knew these guys for years. This was just how he was. He didn't admit he was wrong, he didn't apologize, and yeah, it made me mad at him, but he was still my friend and I still cared about him, so I just kind of dealt with it. Fast forward a few months. We finally work out our schedule, we have characters made. Queen Bee and I are reprising our roles as Goliath Monk and Half-Elf Bard. We go through most of the first session without a hitch, until we get to the first NPC death. NPC has a magic sword. Sword only lets those it deems worthy to hold it. When you grab sword, it gives you a trial every single time. Party takes turn grabbing sword. Each person has to go into private call to do trial. Cunt's idiot friend has joined us for this campaign. We'll just call him Idiot. Idiot spends about 10 minutes in the trial call per trial. Can't accept that he can't solve it. Party begins complaining to him and DM, so DM moves along. We stop trying to sword, head back to town. Town is a cult.wave. Okay, we go to escape town. Head guard tackles Queen Bee's character into a river. Want to dive in after, but whole town is a cult. Sorry, Queen Bee. Now, this is where the party session ends. We weren't informed of this, but it's what happened. DM decided, this private call thing definitely didn't disrupt the flow of the game or make players agitated. Let's do that for 4 hours. Yeah, you read that right. The DM sat in a call and roleplayed a mini-session specifically for Queen Bee in the middle of the group session for 4 hours. To put it into perspective, we played D&D for about 12 hours at a time, so this meant Queen Bee played D&D 1.5 times as much as the rest of us. Anyway, she survives, meets back up with the party, and we close out the session there. Next week, next session, we go through. Queen Bee informs everyone that Cult Town is amassing an army. So we warn Next Town Over. Next Town Over is like, makes no sense. Evil bitch is the nicest person we ever met. She's the best. Q Scout's confirming what we just told the town leader. Belated retreat because town leader is a daft cunt. We help townies get to safety when evil bitch with her town of cultists arrives. Fireballs everywhere. We continue to get people to safety. My character has a soft spot for children, so he's a child in a dangerous area. Leaves area of invisibility that clerics have set up to save child. They're using Disintegrate. You have to make a dex save. Disintegrate? You do realize I'm a level 3, right? Yup, make a dex save. Fuck you, I'm a monk. I monkey flip over the spell, get the kid, and run away. DM is audibly not thrilled with the result. Whatever. We travel to some woods and meet a settlement of various races. Introducing Drowbitch. Now, Drowbitch isn't an NPC like some of you may be thinking. Oh, no. She's much more important than that. Drowbitch, in this campaign, is not only one of the other intelligent life forms not trying to kill you at every chance it gets, she's also the only subplot in the entire campaign. On top of that, she's DM's PC. So, we decide to camp with the settlement as we try to outrun the cult army. The first night, Queen Bee finds herself tied up, dragged across campgrounds, and raped by Drowbitch. Queen Bee is at first taken back, but then seems to be okay with it. Okay, cool. Queen Bee is okay with it. It's fine. A little creepy, but whatever, I guess. Queen Bee, however, doesn't chase this romantic subplot any further. That is until DM makes it clear that Drowbitch isn't going to stop. So Queen Bee folds and gets herself a nice little waifu. We move on. Roleplay through a bunch of stuff. Idiot gets himself stuck in a magic item and spends 2 sessions trying the same dumb idea consistently until his character is killed off. Cunt's only contribution to this campaign has been to be a complete drug addict and nothing more. Room started off as aloof and complained that no one interacted with his character, and then the biggest character moment they had was poking Queen Bee's character's dick whenever someone mentioned Drowbitch. Finally, other PC was nothing amazing. He played his character, but his character was self-sufficient and silent. So it basically became a game of what do Anon and Queen Bee want to do. When I noticed this, I tried to take a back seat, stop making as many plans, stop doing as much role-playing, and generally tried to bring the other characters into the spotlight. However, no one really budged. They never changed their playstyle. And it became a problem about Queen Bee and Drow Bitch and their quest to fuck in every city on the continent. During this quest, we met more NPC and DMPC. Guess how many NPCs or DMPCs had character traits outside of the simplistic backstory that DM gave them? 1. Just Drow Bitch. We get to the point where Drow Bitch couldn't be a part of our party, and she still made an appearance in every session afterwards. At one point, she was on the enemy's side, nearly wiped the party out, and was moments away from killing my character, who was Queen Bee's best friend in-game, and Queen Bee was just watching, and took 5 minutes to make a decision, because the DM kept trying to make her deal non-lethal damage. Needless to say, I was done with NPCs and Drow Bitch. In between sessions, I would talk with Queen Bee, what we thought was cool, what we thought could have been better, potential builds, and one day she brought up the Drow Bitch. Yeah, DM had her do all this really cool stuff and blah blah blah. Wait, when did this happen? This wasn't last session. Yeah, it happened yesterday. He called me to talk about stuff and we just kind of played it out. And this is canon? Like it happened in universe? Yeah. So I confirm what I need to know from Queen Bee, and after the next session, DM did their usually, what do you think I should work on shtick? Which is just for show, as they always become extremely defensive when you mention anything. Yeah, I think the having events happen in private calls thing is starting to ruin the game flow, and it cuts the rest of the party not involved off from other characters. Well, what do you mean? Well, when you separate someone from the party and go into a private call, you're essentially saying that the story doesn't pertain to these characters. As such, these players are not allowed to enjoy the events that transpire. This makes the game kind of feel like it's not for the group, but for the player consistently getting the solo sessions. From this, an argument arises, but the Cliff Notes version is I call DM out for favoritism towards Queen Bee. Queen Bee feels bad, and DM, roommate, and cunt jump in to defend her. We take a break from D&D, and shortly the campaign is ended abruptly, and the new time-traveling campaign begins. So this time, Queen Bee and I begin arguing a lot. She thinks I'm attacking her by saying other people have started to act a certain way around her, and has begun going to these people and saying things behind my back about mental health issues I've developed. My grandfather passed away a few months prior to this, and I was dealing with the grief in an unhealthy way, as well as living with mild, undiagnosed bipolar disorder. We have a falling out. She specifically tells Cunt, DM, and Room that it's not my fault, so we all play a campaign together. Fast forward to the end of this campaign, no mishaps, no favoritism, everyone got their moment in the sun. Players expressed themselves more and had more social characters. We wrap up the campaign, and Queen Bee's bard falls out of a time portal and is stuck with our characters in some other time period. Well, whatever. This is where the events of my original post take place. I'd like to mention that in the Shadow Monk / Rogue campaign, Queen Bee's character got the only minor subplot. Again, the new rule was no subplots for the previous campaign that she wasn't in. Go figure. Had Rube and Cunt's character running defense for her and still denies that there was anything going on. So my character dies. The party moves on without even blinking. And my time-traveling character makes his first appearance. Not played by me, because I wasn't allowed to be a part of the session he was reintroduced in. Anyway, so the way he's introduced is by beating the shit out of Queen Bee's character and taking her hostage. As a result, he gets the info he wants, has her lead him to the party, saves them from certain death, and gives them the information they need to get done what they want to get done. What does he ask for the party when he gives them all this? To look at a staff which belonged to a minor NPC from the original game. Metagaming incoming. So the person holding the staff is Room's PC. The only information Room has on this character is that they saved the party from a vampire who was part of the same organization my character was trying to overthrow from the inside. And they showed up with Queen Bee's character who was beaten and bruised. And that's it. What does the character do? Well, how do I know I can trust you? Are you serious? I just saved your life from one of my former allies. But what about Queen Bee? She's all beat up. What happened? I saved her. Roll deception. Nat 20. Oh, I still don't trust you. Oh, come on. This is legit metagaming against something I didn't even do. No, it isn't. I just don't trust you. You seem untrustworthy. No, you do trust me. What I'm saying does seem trustworthy. That was the point of the deception roll. You failed to beat my roll, therefore I deceived you. Actually, he doesn't have to trust you. You're just your lie. You can still be untrustworthy. Then why does my character seem untrustworthy? What do you have to be skeptical about? Well, you just seem untrustworthy. Oh, for fuck's sake. Eventually, Queen Bee, who could have solved this by simply saying, I seem uneasy around him, says, can't we just move it along and on? You're holding up the game. Yeah. The person who got a 4-hour personal session just complained about me holding up the game. Okay. We move on and get everything done. Another character moment comes up, and one player metagamed about losing a spell slot when the character solo killed a vampire, told people to get out of the living quarters. I knew Room and Cunt were just itching to attack me from earlier, so I let it go, not wanting another character I had grown to enjoy playing die because the group was being toxic. So we end that campaign and get ready for the next one. We get together for session 0 and are ready to make our characters when Queen Bee decides, I'll be back in a bit, and just leaves. A few seconds later, DM leaves. So there we are, waiting to create characters for a new campaign. Trying to get to know each other's characters. An hour passes, and Roll20 begins to get notifications. I look, and Queen Bee and DM are both rolling off separate sheets. I type in Roll20. Did you really just go into a personal chat to roleplay a pseudo session when everyone else is gathered for a session 0? Because if so, that's pretty favoritism. No, that's not what we're doing. Okay. Meet to group in Discord. Don't you think that's crap, though? We are all here for D&D, and they go and do that. Cunt in Room. Well, I mean, they said they weren't doing it, so it's not a problem. Okay. So we play a game of League, and about 20 minutes in, Room decides that he might win brownie points with Queen Bee and decides to message her, saying I'm complaining about it still, when D&D, DM, or Queen Bee haven't even crossed my mind in 20 minutes or so. So DM rejoins the chat. We have a problem here? What are you talking about? Apparently you're in here complaining about me and Queen Bee being in a private call. No, I simply asked if they thought it was crap. They gave their answer, and I dropped it. Who told you I was complaining? Room. Why would you do that? Why would you straight up lie to cause problems? I just didn't want to hear about it anymore. I said one thing and dropped it 20 minutes ago. You know what? Fuck this and fuck you. I don't want to play anymore. Goodbye. Wow. Holy shit. Yeah, this doesn't even seem like an actual game. This just seems like all of these guys really, really, really want to sleep with this girl, and they're doing everything they can to be like, you know, Neckbeard shining armor knights and shit, and it's really honestly sad. The one person who actually wants your game to move along, and this is the way it is, huh? I've been in groups that are like that from time to time, and it is pretty fucking bullshit. When you're just trying to play a game and everyone's too busy trying to fuck around, and it's like, for God's sakes, guys, if you didn't want to play, or if you were really just gonna do all this just so you could hit on this person, why the fuck did you invite me? Why do I have to be a part of your weird, bullshit? I don't know. Jesus. Sorry that OP had to deal with this stuff. It's fucking bullshit. So, yeah. I mean, that's where I'm going to end this episode because it's actually really fucking long. But thank you all for being here. If you would, please like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't already. And I love you all so very much. Also, if you'd like to support this channel so I can keep doing things like that, so I can keep doing things like this and that. So I can keep doing both. You can do that by donating to Patreon or buying something from the merch shop. Much like PBS, this show is sponsored by viewers like you. I love you all so very, very much, and I'll see you in the next episode. Goodbye!